Welcome. Good afternoon. We're going to get started right now, actually, but just know that the chat is there for you to utilize. So feel free to use your reaction button. If you have any questions, you can put those in the chat. I'll start off by introducing myself. I'm Betty Washte. Good afternoon, everyone. Tahilapi, Maniwi, Machiapi. My name is Jillian Waln. I am Sicangu Lakota from Rosebud, and I work and lead our marketing and storytelling department. And I just want to start this afternoon off by first saying thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being a great supporter of our work, whether that's been through donations, uplifting our stories, actually visiting our reservation. I know many of you have been to Rosebud, and we've had the pleasure of meeting you in person. We really appreciate any, follows that you've given us on social media, any shares, subscribing to our newsletter, which I'll talk about here in a little bit more in just a little bit. But we just really appreciate you for being with us today and learning about some of the updates that we have within our programming. We are on our third and final day of these sessions. On day one, we talked about our role in energy and economic development on Rosebud. Yesterday, we highlighted our work around learning and language and Lakota culture. And today, we're going to go in depth with our work in food, land, and health. I know many of you are excited to hear about updates from our food sovereignty initiative, our health initiative, and learning about what the buffalo have been up to and all the growth that has happened at Wolakota. I know it's a lot to cover, which is why we broke it up into 3 different days. Thank you to those who have been joining all 3 days. With that being said, I just want to reiterate that we are a very large ecosystem that consists of our for-profit and nonprofit entities, as well as our native-owned CDFI. And when our leadership took on the responsibility of growing this organization, they understood right away that in order for us to grow our economy, we first needed to invest into our people in our community. And so that's how our branch of our Community Development Corporation was started. And so we also, of course, focus on all the things that I talked about when it comes to revitalizing our Lakota ways, our Lakota health, our education. We have a Lakota immersion school. Growing and improving our food systems through our food sovereignty program. We just have so much going on. And in order for us to reach success for our people, it's really us working together and supporting each other, which is what we do through this ecosystem. And I truly believe that that's what has made it work for us and made us so successful in a short period of time, where we're actually creating impact and improving our local economy and our Lakota ways of life in our community. So again, we really support each other through these different ways, and you'll hear more about that in today's session, and how all the work is just so intertwined. I do want to share some ways that you can support us today. So you can, if you have your phone on you, you can scan the QR code to share any feedback from these sessions. You can also connect with anyone from our team by scanning that QR code. If there's somebody you want to speak with or just have questions for, you can share that information through that QR code and we'll get back to you. We'd also love for you to subscribe to our newsletter. We have a weekly newsletter, and we just share all the different updates that are going on within the ecosystem. We really touch on just every topic that we work on. Sometimes you might even hear from a local community member who's been impacted by the work. And then we also just ask that you share any of these materials with any friends, colleagues, talk about our work. I always like to say that it's really about those interpersonal connections and discussions that help uplift Indigenous communities and organizations like ours. And if we could go ahead and move on to the next slide, we have our, you can see on this screen here, we have a list of our central services team. And it's an overview of our central services team that supports our entire ecosystem. You can see on the slide there, we have HR, we have finance, we have accounting, development, and marketing. And as an ecosystem that is doing something really innovative in our community, and honestly very difficult, it was important for our leadership that they made this great decision to make a much needed investment in our central services, in our back office. And you'll actually hear from our CEO here in a little bit in a video where he talks about this investment, which has been so important and within such a short amount of time has already made a big difference. Our central services team is truly at the core of how we're able to function and make all of this possible. Having this core central services team has provided full-time jobs for all of the people that you see listed on this slide. And for us, that's something to just really be proud of because it's an investment in our community. It's an investment in the economy. It's an investment in the professional development of these individuals as well. And next up, I'm going to pass it over to Aaron from development. He is our tech guy for today, and he's also monitoring the chat. So if you want to say hi to Aaron, you can do so in the chat. He will be playing a video that is brought to you by our CEO, Clay Colombe, who of course helps push much of this work forward.
Hello, my name is Clay Colombe. I'm the CEO of the Rosebud Economic Development Corporation, or REDCO, as well as a board member for the Sicangu Community Development Corporation and Tatanka Funds. Also an enrolled member of the Sicangu Lakota Oyate, or Rosebud Sioux Tribe. The three entities I just said, REDCO, the Sicangu CDC, and Tatanka Funds, make up the Sicangu Co ecosystem. What you're going to hear from our teams about this week is the work that the ecosystem is doing to improve the lives of the Sicangu Oyate. We're doing this in a very unique way. It all started with REDCO, founded in 1999 as the economic arm of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe. As work progressed with REDCO, we found needs within the community that were not being addressed, such as preserving our language, education, food systems and sovereignty, health of our tribal members. We started initiatives to work on that and then created the Sicangu Community Development Corporation. Also a large financial services need, which our emerging CDFI Tatanka Funds is looking at doing. As the CEO of the business side of all this, I'm making sure that we are investing some of our profits to help continue these initiatives to grow. Our main way of doing that is through in-kind services, providing administrative services such as finance, payroll, HR, and the like. That is going to be our biggest focus of growth in 2025. In 2024 and before, we have grown by 70 jobs in the ecosystem. I started in 2017. We had about 25 employees. At the end of 2024, we had close to 90. It's great growth. It's only one of the problems is we didn't match our back office support with that. We started doing that in 2024 and we'll continue in 2025, adding administrative executive positions, continued support HR, marketing, development, as well as adding multiple jobs in our finance staff, all helping to protect our investments in these and allow our professionals that work in these initiatives to focus on that while creating these other new jobs, ensuring that we're doing the best for our shareholders, the Sicangu Oyate. Again, we've added about 70 jobs in the last 10 years and looking to add 10 or 20 more, which is awesome. One problem with that we're running into is space, especially in our back office and at the school. Another one of the major issues that we're facing this year is the freeze on federal funding and the chaos of this current administration. So here throughout the week, we've built incredible momentum over the past few years, but this freeze and clawback of federal funding is threatening that. It's threatening to distract our team from focusing on the important work they're doing. That work is extremely important for our community. They need and deserve this. Rather than planning community events or preparing for spring programs, members of our staff are now working countless hours developing multiple contingency plans, which include significant cutbacks to many of our programs, slowing momentum. This past week confirmed our fears when we unexpectedly received termination letter of one of our signed federal awards. Since receiving that news, we are operating under the assumption it's only a matter of time before more funding is clawed back. However, here at Sicangu Co., we never let any challenges define us. Our vision for a strong, thriving Sicangu Yate is as strong as ever, and as you'll hear from our team, we have the pieces in place to create a better world for the next 7 generations. Thank you so much for our time. Thank you for being a partner of us. Mopila.
All right, so that was a great message from Clay, and I just want to again say what a how grateful we are for our leadership for making that investment into our back office. It's already made such a big difference. And speaking of leadership, actually, before we move on to the next speaker, I do want to let you know that it is crazy weather. There's crazy weather in South Dakota right now, and they're getting some snow. So the weather in our area on our reservation always impacts our internet. So, there might be a little bit of lagging. It might get cut off for a second, but please just bear with us. Hopefully everything goes smooth though, but I just wanted to mention that. But again, speaking of our leadership, the next speaker that I would like to bring on is somebody who has a deep appreciation for the community and a true passion for the work that he does. And so I truly believe he's in a perfect position to support all of the work from our community development side. And so next up, I would like to introduce you to our Director of Community Development, Mike Prate.
Hey everybody. Hello. It's good to see y'all here. Mike Prate matchup. Chante washte na pe choose apolo. Mike, greet everybody with a warm heart, good handshake. I am the executive director for Sicangu CDC. Thank you for the generous intro, Jillian. Really glad to be here with y'all today. I actually switched my Wi-Fi to a phone hotspot, so I'm hoping I don't have any connectivity issues. I was lagging all morning in my meetings. Really glad and fired up to be here for this call today. First want to thank any of you. I see so many familiar faces who have been here all 3 days. We need like a bumper sticker or something sent to y'all for making it through 3 sessions with us. But I'm really appreciative that everybody on the call took some time to come and just hear about what we've been up to. This is something we are so passionate about. You can hear it from our team, but the work that we're doing on the ground day to day is something that really drives all of us to kind of push so that we can improve lives of our relatives, Sicangu relatives here on the ground, right here and right now, but also to be building strong foundations that is going to drive thriving for generations. And that long-term vision is something that gets me really excited about this work, and is a reason that I love to be here in Sicangu country, and very grateful to be able to be a part of this. Today we're talking about food, land, agriculture, health, and all those things are related. You're going to hear across all of the initiatives and projects and businesses that are presenting today that the health of land, healthy food, healthy people, and how all of those pieces are intertwined to create a thriving community and also to build a strong, resilient, but also regenerative, sustainable kind of approach to economy. Food has a special place in my heart. When I started with this company, with this ecosystem in 2015, it was just Redco. And I was hired on to be the director of the food sovereignty initiative. And it was just getting off the ground. It was our first community development effort. And now we've blossomed into so much more. But food has always really carried food and food production, carried a special place in my heart. So I'm excited for you to be able to hear from our food sovereignty team and amazing work they're doing on building up local producers, getting food in people's hands, from our Wolakota team and the way that they're really pushing the boundaries, I think, on raising bison in a culturally grounded, culturally responsive way, and also making sure that paying strong attention to creating cultural and spiritual opportunities within the community. That was a multiple bottom line project. You're going to hear from our farm company talk about the vision for regenerative agriculture on some larger tracts of tribal trust land. You're going to hear from teammates who are working on ag coalitions with Tatanka funds and other local partnerships. And you're going to hear about our health initiative and the ways that we're intertwining food into healthy people and healthy families. So yeah, really, really glad to be here. Really excited to intro this for y'all. And one shout out I did want to give, kind of doubling down, seeing firsthand how very grateful when this ecosystem idea was launched, these distinct entities focusing on business development, community development, various aspects. All of it was aligned in a vision of a better future for future generations. That's what the idea was. So we need to be aligned in all these various areas so that we're echoing each other's impact and we're maximizing what one of us could never do alone. And one of the things Redco brings and brought to the table, a lot of this central services comes from direct investment from Redco, from different for-profit subsidiaries to be able to grow that back office. Very grateful for that. And one of those pieces here that kind of want to give a shout out. You see a familiar face, Matt Wilson, if you worked with us before, has been our food sovereignty director for the last handful of years. In the spirit of kind of growing our capacity, has stepped into a leadership role with the CDC, a deputy director role, really overseeing and helping drive organizational wide impact, allowing our initiatives to focus on doing what they do, but providing the back office or the structural support to make sure people can do that. But today he's going to be here talking about our health initiative. So just wanted to cue up that slightly different position, same great smile, but a little bit of different role that he's bringing to the organization. Very grateful for that. But I'm going to be quiet now. We got lots to talk about today. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jillian and the team. And first up, we have our Wolakota Buffalo Range. Thank you for being here. Doksha.
Thank you, Mike. And yes, I know many of you are very excited to hear about updates from our Wolakota team. And so we're going to go ahead and bring them on. I'd like to introduce to you Bud Colombe.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chance Bud Colombe. I am the Ag Operations Manager for Sicangu, Sicangu Co. I'm going to give you an update on Wolakota today. First, I'd like to let you know what we've been up to in 2024. 2024 was a year for demographics. We really wanted to know not only what our land has, but our bison herd has, what animals are out there, so we could best build a plan to take care of them and keep not only them, but the land that they provide, or land that they depend on, safe. Moving into 2025, one of the first projects we did was GPS ear tagging. And although it ain't our favorite thing to do to work bison or put them in a stressful situation, the outcome of this project is going to be great, not only to them, but to the range. We're going to have data on how they're using the pastures. And not only that, but how they're using them at different times of the year. So we really plan on, kind of letting them tell us what they need. So after we move out of a pasture, we're going to circle back around and see the areas that they're in. And then I do some plant identification to see what they were what they were focusing on during that time of the season. Not only that is it going to help us best understand how to take care of them, but it's going to help us understand how to best take care of the land. Those two things go side by side. We got to, in order to best take care of the bison, we got to make sure that the rangeland is in really good. We're doing our part to be good stewards. One of the other things we have going is a partnership with Sacred Storm. And the first two things I talked about kind of go into this one. Knowing what age of bison we have, we're working with Sacred Storm and we're doing infield harvest. And then again, infield harvest isn't, our harvest in general isn't what we try to base everything about, but it is a necessity to not only take care of the rangeland, but to provide a good, reliable food source for the community. So with the herd demographics, we kind of based on what animals do we have, what age group, because you want to leave some elders out there so they could teach the young. And you don't want to just focus on the young animals, which some people call prime, because that's our future. So really building a strategy on how we could still take care of the community with a food source, but do it in a cultural and respectful way to the Tatanka Oyate. One of the next things I'm going to talk about, and I'm really excited about it, is we got a program coming in 2025, and it's the Koskalaka Tazuya, Young Men in Their Journey. We're going to be taking 5 young men from the community, and this program is going to be a program to guide them through a transformative journey centered on the traditional bison harvest. So over the course of 5 months, we're going to be teaching them cultural teachings, cultural significance of the animals, the importance of the bison to the Lakota people, and just basic life skills. So we're really wanting to kind of bring back some of our original tradition of these young men coming to age, and what they need to be leaders and are providers for their family. So it's a mixture of our culture and skills that they need in today's world. So the overall outcome, what we're wanting is we're wanting to empower these young men. I know 5 doesn't seem like a lot, but the way we look at it is if we reach a few of these young men, they're going to have kids. Say they have 4 kids, and then those have 4 kids. We're wanting to start a process to bring back some of the importance, not only from the Tatanka standpoint, but from the being a good relative standpoint. That's going to be one of our big things in 2025. We are really excited about it. Now I'll jump into, one of the main parts of Wolakota is the team that works every day. Not only do they have a strong sense of community, they have a respect for the bison and the land. And I really want to highlight how important these members are to the project. I'm going to be bringing them on, and I want them to share a little bit about what working at Wolakota means for them. The first one I'm going to bring on is Craig Valandra. So I'll let him talk.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Craig Valandra, part of the Wolakota bison team here. A few of you may know me. I've been in the office for some period of time. I was recently brought onto the Wolakota Bison Project by chance. I've been here about 6 months working out here, and one thing I wanna share is when I came home in January of last year, I started working with working for Redco, Sicangu Co. Being a part of that ecosystem, that work environment there, it's really hard not to speak about the energy in that building, the energy of the employees, their commitment to making things better for the Oyate. Some of our team members are not tribal members, but by God, they do a damn good job at sticking up for our people, and they envision a better life for our people. And I'd like to commend those people and the overall staff of this company. The people and their energy and their commitment to make things better is it's amazing. It's really good to be a part of it. Another thing I wanted to add about the Wolakota Bison Range is what it means to me as a Lakota. It takes your breath away when you're able to be out there with the bison. We take care of them. We provide a lot of things for them. What it means for me culturally, it means everything for me. It means everything to me. We've got a lot of great initiatives that are coming up this year, and I'm pretty excited to be a part of it. I'm pretty excited to be a part of all of it. It's good. It's a good thing. Let's see what else I want to add. Hides. You want to talk about hides? Through our harvesting, we've got these hides. We've got hides from our harvest. We've taken them to Scotts Bluff and had them cleaned, and they've returned to us. We've got them stored. Some of the ideas that we have is to incorporate some of our community elders throughout the reservation, people who have the knowledge of tanning, stretching hides. We want to incorporate them as well as with their youth to come out and get hands-on activities, hands-on experience. It'll all be learning for everybody involved. There's a large part to this program that we acknowledge spiritually as Lakota, and I don't know. It's just really great to be a part of all this. I don't know exactly what we're. I think I'm going to end with that. Thank you for having me. You guys have a great afternoon. I'm going to bring Tony Lucero on.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Anthony Lucero, Tony Lucero. I'm from Rosebud. Born in the city, raised on the reservation. I've been here for also 6 months. It's been a wonderful experience. I've never been so close to Buffalo before. I come here every day. I learn something every day, something new. Everything is going well. I'm grateful to be here and be part of the team. I look at the bison as a spiritual thing, wonderful thing. Would like people to see more of it. I wasn't prepared for a speech, but I'm glad to work with the younger people. We got younger people coming in, the youth. Wish the youth could see more of it. That's probably about all I got to say, but thank you for the opportunity. You guys have a good day.
Hey, everybody. Now I would like to introduce Karen from the Food Sovereignty Initiative. She will be the next speaker. Thank you all for your time. Have a good day.
Thanks, Bud and Craig. Honestly, if you look at the chat, we were tearing up when Craig was speaking. Really great speaker. I'm actually going to pass it over to Matt real quick, just to give a little update, and then I can share what FSI has been working on and what we're going to be working on this year.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Wilson, Deputy Director for Sicangu Community Development Corporation. Good to see everyone joining us today. I just wanted to real quick share a little update. I know Mike and I already gave kind of the update that I got promoted to Deputy Director. But with my transition, I also wanted to do the same thing and build up leadership within our own team, within the food sovereignty team. And with that, we promoted Karen to food sovereignty manager. So Karen's kind of serving as that kind of role until we find a new food sovereignty director. So from there, I'm actually going to pass it back to Karen now to give an update for the program. Back to you, Karen.
Thanks, Matt. So yeah, winter is usually a time of rest for our team, but I feel like we've been going pretty hard since our market and garden season ended last fall. So just some quick highlights that we're working on for 2025. We started planning for our third annual Sicangu Food Summit. Last year, we had an estimate of about 100 community members come to that event that was held in July. We served buffalo from Wolakota that you just heard from. We featured former interns as session and workshop leads, and hopefully we'll be able to work with some more of them for our event later this year. We also we did a last minute pivot with our event in July where we added another session and people were like honestly having a hard time figuring out which one they wanted to go to because they wanted to attend both at the same time. So trying to keep that same energy as we plan for our third annual summit later this year. As you can see, there is a picture of our geodome in the Keowalk Gardens. We're currently at 1 acre and we are working on expanding to 7.8 acres this year. And so what that's looking like is building more greenhouses to extend our growing season. And with the additional infrastructure getting built, we are resting part of the garden so that we can focus on seed saving and the produce that does get grown will be going to our farm to school program that I'll be talking about in a little bit and other community engagement activities. Let's see. I took notes so I wouldn't forget anything. Another program that we're starting this year is our Relatives Feeding Relatives. And with that program, it is, as Clay mentioned in his videos at the top of this webinar, we're having to come up with some contingency plans because that Relatives Feeding Relatives program is federally funded. So we're trying to see what that looks like if we're not able to scale up as much as we were originally planning, but that we're still getting food out to our community. Another thing that we're working on for this year is EBT, SNAP EBT markets. So we are planning markets specifically for our community members that are receiving SNAP EBT benefits, and working with them so that they are getting local produce. That includes recipe samplings and creating recipe booklets that they can then take home and cook food for their families. And as you can see, the very first slide, our team is really, it's huge now. We are one of the biggest teams within the Sicangu CDC. And I forgot to do this at the beginning, Echo, and I apologize, but I want to introduce my teammate Echo, who joined me on the call today. So go ahead and take it away, Echo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Echo Clairmont. I am the program manager for the Food Sovereignty Initiative. So I oversee the different internships that we have throughout the Food Sovereignty Initiative.
And yeah, internships are getting ready to take off. Gardens already taking off. Markets will be taking off before we know it. So just to wrap up my portion real quick, some other FSI activities that we're working on is a collaboration between University of South Dakota and our local schools to bring hydroponics into the classrooms, local classrooms, so that students are able to grow their own food um, right there at school. So yeah, it's going to be a busy year. We're kind of enjoying some of the downtime right now. But give us a couple months and we're going to be busy. But I'm gonna pass it back over to Matt.
All right. Well, thank you, Karen. Well, hello again, everybody. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about the Sicangu Health Initiative. If you all can remember, the Health Initiative was kind of managed and directed by Katrina Fuller. Katrina was the Health Initiative Director for a number of years. Last year, transitioned to a new role within Sicangu, helping to advance our operational capacity. So congratulations to Katrina. When Katrina made her transition last summer, I kind of was asked to step in as interim director to help kind of keep the program going and making sure there's some leadership while Katrina transitioned. And with that, we also had some of our team members transition on from the ecosystem. That was Ashton Plooster and Frankie Young. Just wanted to give them a shout out for all the amazing work that they've done with our initiative and for our community. Really excited that they're going to be moving on to bigger and better things. And during this time, as we were kind of taking a break and trying to restructure and trying to figure out and strengthen the program, we got to take a step back and see what are some areas that we haven't really delved into, and how do we make our current programming more stronger. And so that was kind of my focus on restructuring this past year. So with that, I wanted to make our health and wellness coaching program and our home gardens more stronger aligned and have a deeper connection to our food sovereignty initiative, and making sure there's more ways that they can cross collaborate on things, so that there's a more holistic approach to health, food access, and self-sufficiency. So with that, some of our program enhancements for the home gardens include expanded support for our home gardeners. So last year we were able to offer 63 families gardens last year, and some of the things that was kind of missing was having like the piece around classes around how to not only just save your seed, how to start your seeds, but how to preserve your food once you harvest it, how to cook with your food. And so we'll be working with the food sovereignty team this year to offer some of those classes for the community and for our participants. Our really big main goal is to help families move beyond just growing your food, but to store it and how to utilize it more effectively. And then in terms of our health and wellness coaching program, we used to offer 2 kind of cohort sizes kind of at 6 months. And some of the big key changes this year is going to reduce those cohort sizes from about 30 to 20, and make it so allow for more personalized support, having more one-on-one engagement and check-ins with the coaches. And then also going to expand our program length from 6 months to 9 months, just to offer more deeper engagement for our participants. We're also going to be including more land-based learning and activities, and also more social, emotional wellness activities to reconnect our participants with the land and other Lakota healing practices and mental well-being approaches. I'm really excited for that program this year. In terms of 2 new areas that we're going to be focusing on this year, it includes our outdoor adventure and youth mentorship program. Our goal really is to focus on our middle school aged youth. We do a lot of great work with high school and college youth, but not so much with middle school. So we're really excited to be working with this age group. Our goal with this program is to be able to foster connections to land and to their indigenous identity and their personal growth and resiliency, and also providing them with some mentorship opportunities as well. So that's kind of our way to build the next generation up to, is to offer that leadership pathway. And finally, our last program that we're looking to develop is our birthing and family support. And this really came out of a community need, and it's also kind of been a dream of Katrina Fuller, our former director, to start. Our goal for this year one is really just to gather some data and have some community listening sessions to see what are the current needs and how can we best support our community. So we'll be doing a very thorough community needs assessment to understand those gaps. And I'm hoping that by year 2 next year, we can launch a pilot program based off of those needs. And that could look anything like increasing the amount of doulas, that can look like increasing the access to more Indigenous knowledge around birthing and how to support a family. So I'm really excited for that one. In terms of priorities for these next couple of months for the end of the year is to really rebuild our team again. We're actively recruiting for a health initiative director. I'm hoping we're closing in soon on that. We've interviewed a lot of people recently. And then we are advertising right now for the other program managers and support areas. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this program grow this year. I'm really excited that it's going to be more aligned with our food team and having some more cross collaborations there. So I'll take it back to you, Jillian. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Matt. And next up, we'd like to bring on Koby.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Jillian. My name is Koby Hagen, and I am the Food Systems Director within Rosebud Farm Company at Sicangu Co. I've been with the company for almost 4 years, and I'm really fortunate to be here during these strategic growing chapters. It's wonderful to work with this amazing team and the ecosystem. Rosebud Farm Company, if you're not familiar, it has around 1,400 acres of certified organic irrigated pivot fields, and then additional dryland acreage as well. And there's just 2 staff to oversee it. Myself, I'm kind of like the administrative upper end, but then there's Bud Colombe, who you already met. He's the ag operations manager. He wears many hats, and he does a lot of the on the ground overseeing of what goes on in those fields. For the past decade or so, these fields, we have garnered revenue primarily by leasing that acreage out to farmers, and then we take a cut of the profit when they sell the crop at the end of each season. The farmers have typically grown commodity corn and soybeans and sunflowers and wheat, kind of the stuff we're all used to seeing when we drive by cornfields. And because that's what has traction in mainstream markets. Yet, as we have approached the next decade, the next century outlook, how do we want to expand our bottom line at RFC to not only do a net profit and land protection through organic acreage, but also invest in the capacity of jobs, of really good farm jobs for people in the community, and growing food that can simultaneously be offered as food staples for the community that's culturally appropriate, as well as niche exports in the region. Share with you, a few years ago, we trialed growing a hemp crop for seed and oil with a specialty crop grant. And this allowed us, given that RFC currently does not have any farm infrastructure, it allowed us to use money to buy hemp seed, to sell it to a regional processor who then made hemp oil and hemp seed products. We were able to hire the farmers to custom farm our fields in the area, store the grain, and then ship it. From that trialing of an alternative crop and trialing of more direct farming ourselves, we understood that unless we own more of the production side of an agriculture output, like processing the crop or being able to farm it directly, we will be dependent on grants or barely break even. So that kind of like set us up for expanding out. What do we need to own more of that farm production side and to also have more food security because we would own more of that? So through community surveys, conducting feasibility studies, and some strategic planning, we are investing more in innovative agriculture production. We're investing in internal farm capacity to direct farm fields and growing crops in a more integrated way. Like you can see, this picture is just a single monocrop alleyway of corn, but we are looking into taking a field and highly diversifying it and seeing how that weathers the economic storms, the weather storms that we know are here to stay, and then also just being more diverse and nutritious for the community. And then lastly, we want to develop Sicangu Co foods for local and regional eating as well. And we're just getting started. Let's see. And there you can see a picture of the pivot fields. That's about a 100-acre field. They're on average 100 acres. So it's, in a way, it's the mid-scale agriculture. It looks large. It's not quite the largest, but it's a lot of land to work with. And there's a picture of the hemp seed as well. So while Rosebud Farm Company is working on mid-scale innovative and regenerative food production for the Sicangu community and regional markets, we are only a small fraction of the many producers in the community. Tatanka Funds works with local ag producers in unique ways to support their production goals. And next we have Colombe of Tatanka Funds CDFI Program Manager to share more about TFI.
Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for leaving my camera off. I caught a cold, so I'm really grateful you're all here, and I don't want to turn my camera on and scare you all away. I'm kidding. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Tatanka Funds. I am the program manager. I've been with Tatanka Funds for 3 years. We're an emerging CDFI on the Rosebud Reservation. I really want to emphasize the critical role that CDFIs play in providing access to capital to our native egg producers. Traditionally, our producers are underserved. It's hard for our native egg producers who utilize trust lands through leasing to get financed through your conventional banks. So CDFIs play a huge role in providing capital to our native egg producers, empowering them to build sustainable, resilient operations. I apologize. One of the hardest parts of CDFIs is having enough access to capital to lend to our producers. There aren't a lot of huge grants out there. Most of the time in the last 2 years, our native egg producers need more funding than we have. So that's been a huge struggle. Every day we're continuing to look for more funding resources. Within Tatanka Funds, we do lending and technical assistance. In the technical assistance, we do ag, small business, and housing. Excuse me. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this Sicangu Egg Coalition. We actually ran into a very unique situation after the COVID pandemic, where Tatanka Funds and other programs in the ecosystem had a NAF grant, the Native American Egg Fund. We weren't able to deploy due to the pandemic. So we went to NAF and we said, can we restructure this? Can we restructure it to still give out loans? And they came back and they said, no, but how about you give it out as grants to the native egg producers? Producers never get grants. That's just not something that's like widely available. So it was huge. We put out an application process. How did the pandemic affect your operation? We were able to serve 33 tribal producers with a grant to help them with their operation. Well, within that, NAF didn't give us any guidelines like you have to do this, this, or that, but I thought it was the perfect opportunity to create the Sicangu Egg Coalition and invite these grantees and other native egg operators to join to kind of give them a safe place to learn, grow, brainstorm, all these different things. And so I spent the last year creating a system for them. We do financial and business planning, resources through USDA programs, FSA loans, equip funding, etc., record keeping and tax strategies. One of the portions that I'm really proud of is advocacy and policy navigation, teaching them how to lobby, how to advocate for policies that impact their operations on a tribal, state, and national level. We are part of the marketing, labeling assistance, livestock and grazing management, garden and specialty crop support, access to markets, value added products, just giving them a space to learn more about all these different things, regenerative farming and ranching. We partnered with the Intertribal Aid Council, the University of Minnesota, Farm Credit, and Native Egg Financial Services to be able to bring resources to the local producers. So, with that, that pretty much wraps up the Sicangu Egg Coalition. It's a group of great people. Um, there's a lot more coming out this year, and I'm really proud as a fifth generation rancher myself. I'm really proud of the egg producers in Indian country, especially the Rosebud Reservation. It's one of our biggest economic producing industries. Um, Thank you for your time. If you have any questions about Tatanka Funds or the Sicangu Egg Coalition, um, Jillian put our email in the chat. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Shar. And we are actually coming to an end of today's session. We have a couple more minutes. If there's a question that you have, feel free to put it in the chat. But again, just want to thank you all for your time. Thank you to all of our speakers today. Thank you, Erin, for running things on the back end. But as you can hear from the entire team, everyone really does have a deep passion for our community and of course the future of our generation, but it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of resources. So when we have opportunities like this to come together and share what we're doing, it really does mean a lot to us. Also want to remind you all on how you can continue supporting us. So just a reminder, scan the QR code. There's also a link in the chat where you can connect with different members throughout our ecosystem. Share some feedback. The feedback is always very helpful as we continue to do these sessions. I know a lot of people, from what we've heard, really enjoy these sessions that we put on. So if we can make it even better, we'd love to know how. I also ask that you subscribe to our weekly newsletter. From the feedback that we get, it's a really good newsletter. People love it. So there's also a link in the chat as well. And then follow us on social media. There's a lot of work that goes into our social media. So if you can uplift that work and by just sharing posts, following us, those links are also in our chat for Facebook and Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn where we give updates on there. So it was great to talk with all of you today. And I just want to say again, thank you for your time and we appreciate you for spending your afternoon with us. Wopila, Doksha, okay. We'll see y'all.